Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all my wonderful students. Welcome back to Subject English Class 7. Students, today once again we continue with our Grammar Guide textbook. Here we continue with chapter number 15, Simple, Complex, Compound Sentences. Now students, in our previous chapter, we have already learned elements of a sentence. As you know that sentence means a group of words which makes complete sense. So here earlier we have learned sentences. In this sentence chapter we have learned what is predicate, what is subject in a sentence, what is object in a sentence, what is complement in a sentence. Now here we learn simple, complex and compound sentence. What's the difference between what's the difference among them? And we'll learn about this simple, that in a simple sentence clause, main clause, subordinate clause will come or not. Complex sentence, compound sentence, what are subordinate clause, what are main clause. So students, first of all, open your textbook and look at page number 127. So all of you take your pencil, take your textbook, open it. We'll learn this chapter, simple, complex, compound sentence. Now students, this exercise has given in your textbook. Now look at first, read these lines of a song from a famous film called The Sound of Music. Underline the clauses and put a tick next to the complete sentences. Leave out the phrases. Remember that clauses have a subject and a predicate. Now students, we have completed the chapter clauses 2. In a clauses chapter, we have learned what is phrase, what is clause. Now phrase, what is phrase? Phrase means a small group of words which makes partial sense. You cannot understand very much, but little sense this phrase will give. For example, on the table, on the chair, very big, very small, etc. After, what is clause? Clause will say more meaning than phrase. Here subject and predicate both will come. Remember this. In a phrase, subject predicate will not come. It's just say a little meaning. But clause will say more meaning than phrase. And here subject and predicate both will come, but not a complete meaning will given by phrase. Like if there is given, he is the man. Only this given, there is no full stop. So it's known as clause. So students, try to do this exercise yourself. Or we'll do this exercise at the end of this chapter after understanding this chapter. Now look at first of all, what is simple sentence? Today we'll learn simple and complex sentence. So first of all, we'll learn what is simple sentence. You have learned that a sentence has a subject and predicate. The predicate has a verb and tells us something about the subject. Now students, I told before only that we have learned in chapter number 14, elements of a sentence. In elements of a sentence, we have learned that sentence means a group of words which makes complete sense. After we have learned that in a sentence there will be subject and predicate. Now what is subject and what is predicate? We have learned this before, that a part of a sentence which names the person or thing, or like a noun or pronoun, that we talk about is called subject. And what is predicate? It contains verb which say more things about something, about subject, which says something about the subject, is called the predicate. So, simple sentence in which we will get subject and predicate both. Now, what's the definition of simple sentence? A sentence with only one clause containing a subject and predicate is called a simple sentence. What the simple sentence? In which only one clause will come. Means subject and predicate both, but only one clause. So it's known as simple sentence. What is clause? In which we can get subject also and predicate also, but not a complete meaning. But in a sentence, it will say complete sense. So here, clause will come with a complete meaning. Look at here. Sudhir goes to school by bus. Now, here only give us Sudhir goes. So it's known as clause. But here, the whole sentence given. Sudhir goes to school by bus. As we know that Sudhir is a subject. Goes to school by bus is known as predicate. Goes is a verb. Pranita walks to school. Pranita is a subject. Walks is a verb. Pranita walks to school. Pranita walks is a clause. Pranita walks to school is a whole sentence. It's known as simple sentence. Pranita is a subject. Walks to school is a predicate. So students, in a simple sentence, there is subject and predicate will come with a verb. Now look at here, another examples of simple sentence. Here are some more examples of simple sentence. The green grass on the footpath feels like a soft carpet. The green grass on the footpath. So what is subject here? We have learned already. I hope you know it. The green grass on the footpath. These all are subject. Feels like a soft carpet is known as predicate. Feels is a verb. The boy with the smart motorbike is Sunita's older cousin. Now look at here. The boy with the smart motorbike is a subject. Is, from is to cousin, is Sunita's older cousin. It's known as predicate. So students, now look at here. Here one clause there, Sunita. Sunita's older cousin is a clause. Here the green grass on the footpath feels like a soft carpet. So where subject predicate will come, where one clause will come, it's known as simple sentence. I hope students that the simple sentence is easy to understand for you because we have already learned clauses chapter number 13 and 14 chapter elements of a sentence. So it's very easy for you to understand simple sentence. Now look at this exercise. All the sentences given below are simple sentences. Underline the main verb in these sentences. The main verb is a finite verb. It agrees with the subject in person and number. One has been done for you. Now look at number 1 is already given answer here. Sunny is always the last child to enter school. Now look at here. What is the verb here? Is, which is already underlined. You have to underline the main verb. Now look at this second sentence. A lot of little children came to watch Jurassic Park. A lot of little children came to watch Jurassic Park. What is the action here? What is the main verb here? Came. So students, underline the second sentence only came. They were excited about the dinosaurs. What is the main verb in this sentence? There is a subject. Were excited is a verb. Look at number 4. Some of the scenes were scary. What is the main verb here? Here, some of the scenes is a subject. Were scary is a predicate. But what is the main verb here? Only were. So here verb is only were. The older children showed interest too. The older children is a subject. Showed interest too is a predicate. What is the main verb here in the predicate? Showed. We can talk to the principal about having one more show. We can. We is a subject. Talk. We can talk. Talk is a verb. So students, in these 5 sentences, underline this main verb and write there with the pencil only V so you can understand that it's a verb. Now look at another sentence that is known as complex sentence. Look at these sentences. Sudhir goes to school by bus, though he returns by car. Now students, in a simple sentence we have seen only one sentence. Sudhir goes to school by bus. In a simple sentence, this much. Sudhir goes to school by bus. Now here another sentence add, and this sentence join with though. Though he returns by car. So your subject is Sudhir. He. So in the first sentence, Sudhir is subject. We know it. We have done before. But this is also another sentence which is joined by though conjunction. So this he is also known as subject. Now what is verb here? Goes is a verb, and here in this sentence returns is verb. So there are 2 sentences given. There are 2 clauses given. In a simple sentence, there is only one clause with one subject, one verb. But in complex sentence, there is 2 sentences with a 2 verb, 2 subject. It's known as complex sentence. Pranita walks to school. That we have learned that it's this much. Pranita walks to school is a simple sentence. Now after this sentence joined with because, she lives nearby. Another sentence which is joined by because. So Pranita is a subject. Walks is verb. She is a subject. Lives is a verb. So there are 2 subject, 2 verb. So here clear that in a complex sentence there is 2 clauses will come. Now look at 2 clauses each. Sudhir goes to school by bus, though he returns by car. This both clause. Here one clause is a second clause. Pranita walks to school because she lives nearby. Pranita walks to school, one clause. Because she lives nearby is another clause. Now, this both are clause is known as how. That we learn next. The clauses in the first part of these 2 sentences make complete sense. The clauses in the first part of these 2 sentences. First part means Sudhir goes to school by bus. Pranita walks to school. This much. It's a saying complete sense on their own. They are called main or independent clause. So students, here main clause. What is main clause? We say the complete sense itself. It's not depend on other. It's independent. That's why it's known as independent clause, or you can say it's the main clause. Now look at another clause. The clauses beginning with though and because cannot stand alone, as their meaning depends on the main clause. They are called dependent or subordinate clauses. So students, they are clear that these clauses are depend on the main clause. That's why it's known as dependent, or you can say subordinate clause, because they are not stand itself, they depend on the main clause. They use because, though, etc. conjunction. So here main clause is only Sudhir goes to school, Pranita walks to school. And what is subordinate clause? Though he returns by car. He returns by car. Though he returns by car is depend on Sudhir goes to school by bus. So that's why it's known as dependent clause. It's depend on main clause. And it's also known as like a subordinate clause. Complex sentences are written using the subordinate conjunctions like although, because, unless, until, who, and so on. So students, it's very easy to identify subordinate clause. Subordinate clause always used in the sentence though, because, when, until, who, unless, etc. And that's why they are known as subordinate conjunctions here. What is the definition of complex sentence? Sentences with one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses are called complex sentence. So here only one main clause will come, but subordinate clause may be one or two or three, means more than one. So students, simple sentence only one clause will come, and that clause only main clause. But in complex sentence, there is one main clause and one or more than one subordinate clause will come. It's known as complex sentence. So I hope students it's clear to you that what is complex sentence? One main clause will come, it's independent. One subordinate clause, it's depend on main clause and another clause with using conjunctions like though, who, when, what, until, unless, etc. Now here look at the small exercise related complex sentence. Underline the main clause and circle the subordinate clause in the following complex sentences. Now here 6 complex sentences given to you. Here you have to underline main clause and you have to circle subordinate clause. So all the students be ready with your pencil and do it with me. Unless you choose the correct answer, the computer will not give you the next question. Unless you choose the correct answer, the computer will not give you the next question. What you have to do is circle this subordinate clause. Now, as we know that subordinate clause is dependent clause. It's depend on main clause. And in subordinate clause, there is subordinate conjunctions also used, like unless, because, although. So here unless is already used. So what's this? It's a subordinate clause. So we have to circle it. Unless you choose the correct answer, it's a subordinate clause. The computer will not give you the next question. It's a main clause. Many children went to the summer camp because it was organized in a cool place like Manali. Many children went to the summer camp is a main clause because subordinate conjunction used. So it's known as subordinate clause. Look at the third one. The principal congratulated the parents of the girl who won the bravery award. What is the main here? Who won the bravery award? It's not a main clause. It's depend on the first sentence. The principal congratulated the parents of the girl. So it's a main clause. Who won the bravery award is a subordinate clause. Can you tell me where those boys have gone? Where those boys have gone? It's depend on which sentence. Can you tell me? So can you tell me is a main clause. Where those boys have gone is a subordinate clause. The new fashion magazine is the one that everybody is talking about. The new fashion magazine is the one that everybody is talking about. That everybody is talking about is depend on which sentence. The new fashion magazine is the one. So here that everybody is talking about is a subordinate clause. The new fashion magazine is the one is the main clause. It is not difficult to get 100% marks in mathematics if you decide to do so. If you decide to do so, it's depend on which things. It's not difficult to get 100% marks in mathematics. It's a main clause. From if to do so is a subordinate clause. So students, I hope that it's very easy for you to understand what is simple sentence and what is complex sentence. You know why it's easy? Because we have already learned clauses and elements of a sentence. So we have much knowledge related these two things. That's subordinate, subject, predicate, verb, clauses. So it's very easy to identify simple and complex sentences. Still students, if you have any doubts related these, you can write in the comment box so I can solve it in the next video. Thank you all and have a great day.